This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Kristen Gilreath, and Davis Ferreira. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Adam, Amy Harmer, and Anonymous to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about the second half of the prologue of Winter's Heart.
Yes, just Winter's Heart. It's Prologue Part 2, Snow.
Still snow.
Still snow. Still a lot of snow.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And I have a feeling also for the rest of the book there's going to be a lot of snow.
It's a common theme. It's the theme that the author is going after here.
Winter? Is winter the theme?
You know, and coldness.
Cold.
Death.
Ugh.
Things of that nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I could do English.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll kick us off with a fun fact and we'll get into snow.
Sounds fun.
All right, so this one is going to be a little bit more about stats for the book, for what we're going to be looking at for Winter's Heart. So last time I talked about how the fact that there are 239,000 words. Now I got to talk about the breakdown of what we're looking at. So the male versus female perspectives.
And other. That's my favorite, talking about what is an other perspective.
So, interestingly, this one doesn't really have an other perspective count that I could see.
Okay.
So, it's about a 55-45 split for female perspectives.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and ever since The Shadow Rising, it's been pretty much a majority of female perspectives for all the books. And I do want to note, though, that just because there's more perspectives doesn't necessarily mean that the word count is also higher.
Very true.
But in this book, there are more female perspective words. So 130,000 versus about 110,000 for male. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at.
Okay.
There we go. Let's get into part 2.
Okay, so last time we were here, a bunch of things happened in the first half of the prologue.
Yeah.
We had the Black Aja in the tower recap and follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing that was happening there.
For sure got one.
With those guys.
Yep.
And then we had the Elaine in Camelin recap and follow-up, plus a First Sister rebirth ceremony.
Very rebirthy.
It certainly was.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, and we're going to jump into a Tovine perspective, but before we do that, we should probably remind people who that is.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
Because at first I went, who? And very quickly I went, oh, right, this.
Yeah.
And I get a gold star.
You do?
Do you remember?
No, I don't.
It was either in the
Whatever
last
you're gonna
episode.
say.
Yeah, just give me it, no matter what.
Okay.
I should just start giving myself gold stars all over the place if you're not going to remember things I've said.
Okay, what did you say?
Okay, so it was either the last chapter episode or the recap episode, but I said I was eager to move forward with what Logain was doing.
Sure.
And where that was landing, and I said that feels like a prologue perspective.
Ooh, okay,
I said I think if we're gonna see Logain, except I want it to be in Logain's head.
Oh, yeah.
For that, because we're talking about the relationship between Taim and Logain, and so I really wanted to get more insight into that.
Yeah.
Which we don't get here.
No.
But next best thing.
Yeah, no.
I'm sort of right.
So as a reminder for who Tovine is, the last time we saw her, she's the head of this embassy from the tower, headed to the Black Tower to destroy it. And then just when they were arriving in their little miniature groups, they all got captured and bonded.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, not so good for them.
Not so good. But now, I do have a question later on about the rest of the Aes Sedai here. I don't know for certain, and tell me if I'm wrong, and point it out if we come across it. I don't know if all the Aes Sedai who have been captured have been bonded, specifically.
Okay. It seems like probably, because that kind of seems like
just
that's...
not by Logain, but by other Ashraman?
Yeah, everybody is individually bonded, probably, from what it seems like.
Because that stops them from like trying to escape and murdering everybody and using their... Okay.
Yeah, the extra bit is the whole obeying thing, too.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Okay, so we're going to start off with the prologue. It is called Snow, and it's a continuation. We don't even have a symbol or anything, because we're in the middle.
Wheel and snake.
Yeah, we're in the middle.
First part was the wheel, this is the snake.
Sure. So Tovine wakes up to the sounds of women bustling around. She was having a lovely dream about strangling Elida, and she thinks about how she has her orders and Loghain's filthy bond making disobedience impossible.
Yeah, so that's like the first big, huge indicator that the bond, she literally has to obey, and we see that through the chapter, that it seems like she literally has to.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
And so then we get a bit of a recap on who Loghain is, and Tovine is feeling like her previous exile was bad before, but this is just the absolute worst.
Yeah.
So remind us about her previous exile.
Yeah, so she actually got called back from exile by Elida to run this mission because she used to be a sitter for the Red Aja, so she was pretty high up. But then
Something went down
20 years ago.
She was blamed for it.
Well, she thinks that it was necessary and it was right to do, regardless of all the rumors of the Black Aja being involved.
Right.
And then
we don't really know exactly what it was.
We don't, but we've gotten hints even from Cadswin about, the vileness that happened that long ago. So, I mean, we have some hints, but not a full rounded out story.
Okay.
And then she got removed from her chair in the hall. She was punished. And then she was sent to work for the last 20 years on an isolated farm in the Black Hills.
Right.
So, yeah. And also, she thinks that Elida slipped through the cracks on that one. So it seems like Elida was probably involved.
I remember.
In whatever went down too.
Right. Okay. But now she's called back, and here she is. But this is even worse than working on a farm. And now we know how terrible it must be to be a farmer.
You know what? And honestly, I would say that this probably is worse.
Oh, yeah.
Like, realistically.
No, I know. I was joking.
Okay.
Because all of the noble people, like the
also hate
Kyrianians,
being on farms.
They're like, oh my god, farmers, yuck.
Yeah. But she has like a legit reason to complain. Like
no,
everyone else.
I know that.
Oh,
I was
man.
trying to be funny.
No, it's good. It's good. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, so now we get a description of the room she's in. It's small, whatever. She is allowed to channel to heat her wash water, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And then once she's dressed, she leaves her little room.
And it's like canvas walled. It's like a makeshift almost.
Yeah,
like tent
because it's
side
cold.
Of thing.
Like her wash water has a layer of ice.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah.
Like it's really cold.
Yeah.
So there are already about 20 sisters in the hallway, and they're all looking afraid and ashamed, and none of them are allowed to have their Aes Sedai rings on. And then once they see Tovine, a bunch of them glare at her, and we find out that it's been 2 days since they've all been captured.
Yes, yeah. Well, they all got captured in the last 2 days. The last 2 days, they finally rounded up all
of them.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's probably been about 2 days since.
It's probably been not that long for her, yeah.
Okay. So now they all blame Tovine for this situation, and the first night, the Aes Sedai all beat her up.
Well, they tried to kill her. They were going to murder her.
No, she wishes that she was...
okay.
She wishes that they beat her to death.
Okay.
They just beat her up.
I think they should have finished the job.
No, she thinks that.
I also think that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah, sure. No, she thinks it would have been better if they just beat her to death.
Yeah.
But she's just like bruised and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we get a bit of a description of the whole Black Tower from the inside and what it looks like now.
This is actually kind of cool because we haven't really got to see since we were here so long ago.
Yeah.
And now there's like stuff. And we've even seen Elaine's perspective last chapter, like last episode, I guess. Wasn't last chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she's thinking about like, why can't I come inside the walls? I really like this scene.
Yeah, and we got to follow up with that too.
We do.
So let's get there. Now, we learn that most of the Ashaman are living in 5 big barracks that hold 100 Ashaman soldiers each.
Yes.
So that means we're up to 500.
Just for soldiers. Like the lowest level.
Yes.
And they're not all full.
Ashaman, but Ashaman soldiers.
Yeah, and they're not all full for the record, but they're still the majority because obviously you have majority trainees, right?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, we have about a dozen smaller structures that hold 10 dedicated each.
Mm-hmm. And there's more being built, I believe, of those.
That's right.
So there's probably like 120-ish dedicated, somewhere around there.
Okay. And then there's about 200 houses where some of the married men and the families live.
That's kind of cool. There's even kids here. So
there's kids here.
There's one thing I kind of want to like talk about or just kind of mention, because we've speculated a little bit about what the Black Tower looked like. And not to pinpoint on this on you, but you had mentioned that there's a possibility that the Black Tower is like totally corrupt and all evil, and time is like, the entirety of the thing. Yeah, I didn't want to say that's what you said, but
yeah, I didn't say that.
No, not exactly. But there was the implication
I said that there is a level of corruption.
Yeah,
because
and we may have thrown around the terms of like, oh, the entire Black Tower is like all dark friends and they're all evil.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever really went that far. But I always said, even without Taim being a Forsaken, like let's pretend, for a second that that's not the case.
You're not giving up on that yet.
Oh, no.
Okay. I don't know.
No.
Would Demandred really make like a village open to women and children and families and, married men and...
Well, he doesn't have like a lot of the say, too.
Okay.
Well, maybe he does, but...
Rand hasn't been here.
No, he has not. But anyway, let's say that he's just a dude who likes power.
Sure.
And he's not a Forsaken.
Sure.
Anytime we have this amount of people gathered anywhere, there is bound to be dark friends statistically.
Yeah.
Within the midst. So anywhere you have technically is going to be corrupted.
Okay.
So that was my thought on that.
Yeah.
Plus Taim being a Forsaken, there's going to be a higher level of that corruption.
Okay.
That's just all I feel about that.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, women, children, run around, lots of murderous dogs.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening?
Oh, man,
I guess we'll get to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the wall.
Yeah.
There's a big wall.
So we got last time that there's like 4 square miles or something, and so there's like 8 miles of wall. I didn't do the math on that. I can't figure that out. I'm not good enough, but there's a lot of wall, and it's not all built yet, but we do kind of get that it's not completed, but there are pretty high walls around 15 feet somewhere, but there's not actually like the big tower portions yet.
Not yet.
But eventually it seems like they got good foundations.
Well, especially we get that they haven't even been here for 3 months.
Yeah.
Since they started building the wall.
Using the power for literally everything also helps construction.
Goes quick.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tovian heads down the street that's already been cleared of snow by the men learning to channel, because everything is done by the power here.
Love that.
Which is more recap
for
us, the reader. Then she sees a small group ride up down the street. There are 5 Ashaman escorting a group of Queen's Guards and 2 yellow-haired women in the front, and it's definitely Elaine and Brigida.
Oh, yeah. Immediately where you're like, oh, yeah.
Well, especially the lady in trousers with a military knot on her arm.
Yeah, but even before, you're like, 2 blonde ladies.
Well, I for sure knew it was Brigida. I wasn't 100% about the Elaine until they specifically say
the Lady Elaine.
Lady Elaine. So...
It's so funny. She came here.
It's interesting. Yeah, we have the timestamp, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which I'll refer to later, because I was confused. Or not confused, but I speculated about when Taim maybe was going to Cairhien, and maybe he'd already been there telling Rand, and then he's here trying to manipulate her. So that's not the case, it seems. It seems that he did go to her and say what's going to happen when Rand finds out, and then he goes to Cairhien to tell him.
Yeah, so that would be when like the attack on Rand happened, too.
Yes. Is that the gift? No.
No, it's from the south. Yeah.
Elaine from Rand.
From the south.
So something else.
What did Rand have in the south that he's going to give?
Nothing. He had nothing.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what you think.
This is a Taim plot.
That's what you think.
That's what I know. Okay. But anyways, this gives us the timestamp, the timeline of when things are happening. So this is clearly like the next day from Elaine having that meeting with Taim, or like a few days later, something like that. But
pretty close.
That's the order of events that are going on here. We could plot it if we so chose.
With a board and string. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, or even just markers.
Yeah. Pencil and paper. There's options here, but we're not going to do any of that.
I mean, like I might.
It's pretty close.
I'm kind of feeling like things are starting to line up, and that's a good feeling.
Okay.
And I like visuals. So we'll see how much time I have on my hands with that one. Okay, so Tovine pulls her hood up to hide her face because she's like, oh, it's forbidden to let any outsiders see that there are Aes Sedai here. And then she berates herself a little bit because she thinks none of these people would recognize an Aes Sedai face.
Nah.
I was like, why would you think that?
Yeah,
anyway,
wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, she also thinks maybe she could pass a message to them somehow, but knows for sure that there's no way she could actually do that.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of, like, thinking about stuff that she could have done. And she could have done a lot of things better, too. Because imagine if Elaine actually saw Toveen as an Aes Sedai here, like, what she would think. Because her number one rule with Taim was no hiding anything.
That's right.
Don't hide things from me. Mm-hmm. But there's clearly an order to, like, hide things.
Clearly.
So.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well.
And obviously... Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that order is also coming from Logain, so I mean, we can blame Taim all we want, but...
Oh, well, no. Let's be real. Who that order is actually coming from.
Sure.
Rand.
Yeah,
I think that they're interpreting Rand's order not to harm Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
And now we have Aes Sedai here, and so I think that to keep them hidden is to keep it hidden from Rand.
Okay.
More than anything else. Because if news gets out to Rand that there's Aes Sedai here... that won't go well.
Well, to be fair, Rand's orders were don't hurt any of them, and they haven't, but he also mentioned, like, you don't go hunt them down.
Yeah.
But them hunting the Black Tower, like, it's off the table at that point.
No, I know. I think that Taim likely wants control over the Aes Sedai situation before Rand finds out.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. Now, at this point, Toveen overhears one of the Ashaman saying about their craft town that has every kind of craftsfolk that can be, so they can make everything they need.
Yeah.
And at some point, he says, Lady Elaine. And then that makes Toveen whip her head around, and she thinks, Elaine Tricand? Elida still has orders for her to be returned to the tower.
Yeah, like, you're way behind in the news cycle here.
Yeah.
Like, so far behind. Especially because she also thinks about Nynaeve a little bit later, too. As, like, an accepted or whatever.
Yes.
So, if she's still thinking Nynaeve's an acceptance, then Elaine's a novice still in her eyes?
Yeah, and also, with Toveen being pulled out of exile, how much information about the whole tower split does she even have?
And does she care about, because she's clearly aligned with Elida
Not
at
anymore.
some level.
Oh, no.
So.
She wants Elida murdered.
I mean, aligned with the tower at the... Like, she would never align with the rebels. I couldn't see that possibly happening.
No, she probably doesn't even know the scope.
No, so...
Okay, but she does think to herself that she's going to try to use this information to her benefit.
Yeah. And it does sound like she doesn't want Elida to get her hands on Elaine.
Yes.
So it's more so probably...
Mostly she doesn't want Elida to get anything she wants.
Yeah,
That's really what
so
it
if anything, use that to help herself get free. And that makes sense. Yeah.
So now, before she can do anything else, she feels Logain in the back of her head. And he wanted her to be there when he finished his breakfast. So she immediately starts running, like booking it.
Yeah.
And then she biffs it.
As per usual with Robert Jordan.
Someone falls down?
Yeah. Like when they start running, like the fall down thing.
Oh, okay.
Classic.
Oh.
Remember when they were like heading out of the fog forest with Rand, like they biffed it and like a bunch of times all over the place people fall down. It's great.
All right.
It's a great thing.
That's different.
A little bit of physical comedy.
That's different. Like when you're running downhill. This is just like she falls down and then like a pack of
stray dogs.
ravenous dogs are just like attacking her. Well, and I just went, what is happening?
Here's the thing.
It's not just like ruff, ruff,
a little old lady
annoying.
with a broom like beats the dogs away. So maybe she's a little bit
scared of dogs.
Scared, exaggerating, not in a good mindset. And she's like,
I'm gonna
get
murdered by these dogs. They're gonna eat me.
Yeah.
No.
I just think like little old lady comes out with the broom and
out of everything that's happening in this entire perspective.
Oh, not even important.
Not even remotely. Okay. We didn't even have to talk about it.
She doesn't get eaten by the dogs. I don't even know
why it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So Toveen gets up. Oh, you know why maybe? Maybe this lady who like brushed her off. What it showed us was the people here know there are Aes Sedai here.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
She goes, go ahead, Aes Sedai. Yeah. Go away now.
And she's like, oh, my God, how could anybody recognize me? It's like, that's...
Yeah, that was the tidbit for us. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So Toveen gets up to go to Logain's house, and there's a bunch of Ashaman waiting outside. So she composes herself, and she can sense Logain is inside, probably reading. Yeah. He feels pretty satisfied with himself at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of an indication, too, of, like, what this bond entails, because we don't necessarily know, like, how the bonds work, but, there is a bit of a connection there.
Yeah. So we also get a bit of a description of Logain's house. It's pretty plain and basic considering who he is.
Yep.
The other sister Gabriella.
Gabriella.
What'd you say? Just Gabrielle?
I would have said Gabrielle, but,
Yeah.
you know.
It is that E on the
that
end.
last E,
with the,
yeah.
Anyway, so this is the sister who is also bonded to Logain from before.
Yes.
She's not here waiting yet, and she has the same orders as Tovine. So
and
Tovine's
she's always first, too.
She's always first here.
Where is she?
And when we get always, hasn't it been like 2 days?
It's been 2 days since everybody got captured, so it might have been like 5 days to a week since she was captured.
Because she was one of the first, maybe?
Possibly. We don't exactly know, but there were a few groups. So assuming that 1 or 2 or 3 groups evaded for a while.
Okay.
So.
All right. So we get a bunch of names here because Tovine knows who some of these dedicated are, and she thinks sooner or later they'll all be hunted down. So she's working on remembering everything she knows about them.
Yeah, we got Evan, Donello, Andral, and Mazar.
Okay.
Those are some names.
Those are some names of some people. And she's still a delusional person who thinks that these guys are going to be hunted down in any way by Aes Sedai.
She has to remember.
Yeah.
It's going to make it easier later.
Well, I mean, yes, remember who the people are around you and use that to your advantage if you ever can. But thinking at this point, like, you know
the situation,
the vast reach and stretch of this Black Tower now at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Uh-huh.
And, like, nobody's coming for you to help you from the White Tower.
No.
That's not happening. And, I mean, there's no way for her to actually know that, but they're on their own.
Yeah. So now the door opens, and it's not Logain who comes out.
It's Gabriella.
This is surprising news.
Yeah.
Because Tovine could tell through the bond with Logain that last night Logain was up to something.
Yeah, for a while.
And even kept Tovine up.
Debatably for around 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She never suspected it was with Gabriella.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
So Tovine pulls her away from the dedicated and whispers, "We may be captives, but there's no reason to surrender completely, especially to his vile lusts."
Keep in mind, she's red.
She's red. She hates men.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she says, "Did he order you?"
Which is fair.
Which is a fair question.
Totally
at this
fair.
point.
Totally fair.
And Gabriella now it's important to note, is a brown.
Yeah.
Brown Aja who likes to gather information in any way she can.
Also, Logain's not bad looking.
Okay.
I mean, she seems okay with her choice. Like, it doesn't necessarily seem like, because she talks about how, like, she convinced him to go along with this.
Yeah.
It was kind of her idea.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's not the worst situation.
No.
It's not great, but it's not, like, terrible.
I don't know. I'm not mad at it.
It's not like
fine.
it's not the same as, like,
it is what it is. I mean, I like Logain.
Yeah,
I like
because
Logain as a character.
She also thinks about, like, is that how it is for, like, regular people? Because keep in mind, they have a bond too.
Oh,
so it's like maybe there is like
yes, I know what you're talking about. You're glazing over it slightly. She has a moment where she tells Tovine that she's never slept with somebody without being able to embrace the power.
Yeah.
She couldn't in this moment, so she's never felt weaker than a man before, so that's a whole situation for her.
Certain power to that, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Good for research, good for the book.
Absolutely.
All Brown's gonna write a book someday.
Because you know what? Men love to talk and gossip, and all you need to do is listen, and a man will tell you his whole life.
Also that.
Yeah, and so Tovine thinks Gabriella must be insane.
Also a hussy.
Yeah.
Like,
also a hussy.
Get out of here, Tovine.
Yeah. What a hussy.
Yeah.
Now, the dedicated start making their reports as Logain comes out of the house.
Yep.
And usually Tovine can't really make sense of any of it, but she listens anyway. And we do have some news of some things happening that are sort of happening.
Some are more interesting than others. So first off, Andral, one of the dedicated, reports that 2 more people seem interested in the new type of healing that Nynaeve used on Logain.
Okay.
Right, so that's kind of interesting, but they don't have very much progress on that in actually figuring things out, because Logain also doesn't know how it works, and also Nynaeve never explained anything he was doing.
No, he didn't know, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when Tovine recognizes Nynaeve's name, and that's when she's like, oh, she's also on the list, and she's an accepted, so why would she be doing new healing?
But she's also from the village of the Dragon Reborn, so...
A lot of pieces there, but it's like,
tuck
Tovine,
that away.
Yeah, none of that's going to help you here right now. So,
Mm-mm.
And then the other news, and this is actually very interesting that I think. So there's a problem with some of the Two Rivers men, boys really, because they're 14 years old, and the dedicated says it was a crime bringing them here. So clearly there's a little bit of like, oh, we don't really like what's going on with bringing these young boys here.
Mm-hmm.
But Logain points out that the White Tower takes girls as young as 12.
Yep.
But according to Tovin's thoughts, it's actually like only under 15 if they're already channeling.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the cutoff. But Logain's defending the choice to bring these 14-year-old Two Rivers boys.
But
and
it
he
sounds
says,
like
yeah.
Taim went and recruited over in the Two Rivers.
So here's the
where
thing.
he probably shouldn't have.
Here's the thing. And then he says that they should be careful because the Lord Dragon won't like it if too many from his district get killed. But then another dedicated says it doesn't seem like the dragon cares too much about the Two Rivers.
He hasn't been there. He doesn't care.
Exactly. His plan is doing pretty good. But then he also mentions that he heard that it was the Lord Dragon himself that told the Mahale to pluck up anything male in the Two Rivers that he could channel. Like,
that doesn't sound like Rand.
but if you remember in Path of Daggers chapter 14,
I don't.
There
Go
was
on.
a note from Taim to Rand that, and the last sentence said, "I have harvested that blackberry bush myself, a small bush and thorny, but a surprising number of berries for the size."
Ah.
So that could possibly refer to a secret coded message that he actually went and personally recruited in the Two Rivers, and there's actually like a lot of good numbers if Rand actually told them pluck up anything they can channel in the Two Rivers.
Right.
Because we had talked about like what the blackberry bush meant.
Yeah.
And it was either like
Right.
Tarvalin, because that would be like a dangerous thorny blackberry bush.
That is what I thought, baby.
Or the Two Rivers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go not Two Rivers.
Oh, it seems like it's pointing in that direction.
You do think that?
It kind of seems that way.
I just think that Rand doesn't want anybody or anything around there at all.
But Rand understood the message.
Yeah.
Rand understood the blackberry bush message, and it seems like that was the message.
Yeah, obviously, it's a plan they had.
Yeah.
Obviously, he understands the message of the plan that they had.
He gets it.
I just don't know.
Rand also knew that like a bunch of girls came out of the Two Rivers, a whole bunch of channelers.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then we have him, well, sort of him, and we have Nynaeve and Egwene being super strong.
And Rand wants strong channelers. Like at this point, that's all he wants. So he's like, go check that out personally, Taim. And it seems like he may have.
Maybe. It just doesn't seem like Rand because he specifically is staying away from there because he doesn't want any tie or connection to trace back there because he doesn't want them getting hurt.
That's why it's secret. That makes sense. He also sent Perrin on the secret mission to go back to the Two Rivers to defend it in the Shadow Rising.
Yeah, no, but that wasn't a connection to Rand. But the Black Tower is a connection to Rand.
Not if he never goes there again.
I know. I'm just playing devil's advocate at this point.
Yeah.
Because
things to think about that secret coded message.
and as soon as we're done here, I'll forget about it completely.
Yeah.
So.
And then the last one, the last piece of news.
Yes, okay.
Last one that's a little bit secretive and we don't really know what's going on, is one of the dedicated that learned that Mishrael is having private lessons from the Mahale.
Mishrael?
Mishrael?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. That's how I liked it.
And then that makes them all pause and think. And it sounds like that's an Ashaman, because Tovin doesn't recognize the name as like an Aes Sedai.
Seems like a dark friend to me.
So what's the secret training or special training that he's getting personally from Taim?
Dark friend training. Dark
Done.
friend meetings.
Gotta learn the secret handshake.
Yeah, you gotta be given your secret missions and stuff.
The got your nose.
They gotcha.
Yeah. No, that's the black Aja, like the, remember that's what
yes, I know,
Halima did? So, there you go.
Yeah, that's probably different.
Mm.
The Halima one is probably different for the Black Aja than for others. That's a good gesture too. Yeah.
It's the Ross Geller.
Yeah, it's the good one. No, that's also that's everybody on Friends.
Yeah,
really.
It's great. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I like that one.
Cool.
Okay.
Figured it out, guys.
Okay. Well, maybe now with, his others kind of in hiding, he needs new lackeys. Or, quote, deserted. Doesn't matter. Either way, they're not physically here, so he needs new lackeys.
Okay. You're really twisting these facts to, like, fit your story.
Okay, listen, though. I'm going to go back to the let's pretend he's just a dude who wants some power.
Sure.
And let's say these other guys actually just deserted and they're gone somewhere.
Yeah.
He still wants new lackeys.
Yeah.
He clearly has his men who,
he needs a new assistant to the manager.
Absolutely he does.
Okay.
Whether or not they're evil, really is surface level at this point.
Yeah, okay. I get it. Yeah.
Because it's all, not great.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Let's
get back to it.
All right. So the reporting gets interrupted by another dedicated named Kajima.
Yeah.
running up the street and reports that the Mahale is back from Kyrian.
Ooh.
So that's good, timeline-wise. We can line that up.
Yep.
So that means the attack on Rand is happening later today.
Taim showed up after the attack happened with Rand.
No, not with the report from Elaine. He showed up in the morning and then again after.
Oh, yeah, that's confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he comes back with new names on the list.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to need strings.
We're going
to
need to break this down.
Need a murder board.
So we have Taim showing up in Kyrian in the morning for a regular message meeting.
Okay.
It seemed. He relayed to Rand about Elaine being in Camelin and taking down his banners. Probably some other stuff too. And then he left. And then we entered with Rand pacing around being a whiny baby, wondering whether or not he should go to Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
And then the attack happened. And then Taim showed up again and told him about some deserters.
Okay.
And now,
yep.
This seems like the morning, like the middle of that. This seems like after Taim's first meeting with Rand in Kyrian.
Mm-hmm.
If I want this all to line up.
That does kind of line up. Okay. We need the murder board. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because it's making sense in my brain.
I have a hard time visualizing stuff without, like, writing it down.
Yeah.
So.
I know.
No, I think it checks out.
Okay. So anyway, Taim's back from Kyrian, and he's posted new deserters on the board at the palace. So maybe this is after the explosion, but this is morning time, and that doesn't check out, you know?
It's hard to say.
Okay. Anyway, so there's new names on the deserters board at the palace, and you won't believe the names.
Mm-hmm.
Dedicated have deserted before, but never full Ashaman, and now 7 at once. Something's going on. And now in my mind I went, ooh, 7? Who else? Because Taim told Rand of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rand said, add 1 more. That's 5.
But
that's not 7.
Here's the thing, though. With your timeline, that actually checks out.
It does, doesn't it?
Because if Taim is reporting this in the morning, that's before the attack happened in Kyrian on Rand.
Right, and so he
7,
doesn't know Deshiva yet.
But this is the thing. The 7 that he's saying are the deserters seem like they're Gedwyn, Torval, Rochade, Kisman.
Yep.
And then also Flynn, Hopwell,
Narishma.
Narishma. So that's everybody who would be in that...
In the tower, or in the Pyran Palace right now.
So if he's blaming a future attack on all 7, then he already knows that the attack may happen.
Right.
So then when he goes back later, and then Deshiva...
And then Deshiva's like in with that
and then
group.
he's very surprised. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So then he has to like come back and maybe put like an 8, but then also Rand clearly isn't against Flynn, Hopwell, and Narishma. So...
Yeah. Well, and because when Taim goes later, he doesn't say Flynn, Hopwell, and Narishma.
Mm-hmm.
He only says the 4.
Yeah. Interesting. Timeline-wise, this is suspicious.
Right?
Okay.
And when we see Flynn and Narishma, after the attack, they don't attack Rand.
No.
But when he saw Deshiva attacked him after. So, it's a mystery.
It is a mystery. And also, like, if Taim is pinning, a future attack on everybody, why isn't Deshiva on this list?
Right.
That also doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
None of it makes a lot of sense.
Uh-oh.
That means there's secret plots going on.
Uh-oh.
That's what that means.
For sure,
right?
That's what's happening here.
All right.
I need a murder board.
Yeah.
Attack board? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, at this point, the dedicated who are here with Logain don't understand why Gedwyn, Torval, Rochade, and Kisman would desert, because they're all Taim's men.
Yeah.
And they're literally treated like a king in this place.
Yeah. So what's the actual plan there?
Mm-hmm. And then that's when we get the other 3 names, Flynn, Hopwell, Narishma, and I thought, ooh, okay.
Like, what's going on here?
What's going on?
Yep.
And then there's a bit of an ominous conversation because Logain is like, you know what? We're all probably going to die anyway, so...
No, that's not what he's saying. The dedicated are like, oh, we're going to die or get sent to the butcher's yard. Yeah. Right? Because they're talking about why would the other 3 desert? Yeah. Because they got to go down to Abu Dar for that whole battle, so maybe they got like cold feet about the whole dying in battle stuff.
Oh,
right? So that's why
it.
he's saying,
okay.
oh, maybe that's why. And then Logain basically threatens them and says, you know why we're here. You all better be there on the day that the butcher's bill is going to be paid. Like, you all better be there for the last battle.
Right.
Because the point of the Black Tower is to be weapons for Rand.
Right.
For the last battle.
And now we also get that it's their job to go hunt them down.
Yeah, and we knew that.
Yeah, but now that's an actual, like, oh.
I guess
with
so.
Flynn, Hopple, and Nourishment being on that list.
Questionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Logain tells Tovene and Gabriella to go inside and have tea and wait for him to return. So they do because they have to.
And they also have to have the tea.
They have to have tea.
They have to have the tea.
Whether or not they want tea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
That's the thing about ordering people.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And it was phrased like a suggestion.
Yep.
Oh, it's cold. Go warm yourself up with tea.
That's an order.
And now they have to have tea.
Yeah.
So there's a description of the inside of his house, which is also not very fancy. And then the two Aes Sedai get down to having a conversation because some cleaning lady will be here soon and she's loyal to Logain.
So they got to get all their, secret talking out right now.
So Gabriella has learned a few things. Logain is the only full Ashaman to live here in this village. And the others all live in Taim's, quote, palace.
Yeah, and Tovene actually has wanted to check out the palace, but hasn't been able to yet. Yeah.
Also, Logain found Tovene's lap desk.
Yep.
Which, earlier in...
At the beginning
she was like, oh, I'm glad my lap desk is gone.
Yeah.
And I thought...
Why?
Yeah, because in my brain, it's just like... a thing that goes over your lap while you're sitting so you can write on.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it?
Well, no, it's also a thing that has a compartment.
Oh, yeah, like all the stuff.
your papers and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Okay.
And so it's mostly her papers and stuff that she's worried about.
Yeah, that's the important
actual desk itself.
Well, and I figured you'd be like, oh, it's what's inside that she's happy is gone.
Do you remember those... I guess lap desks that had like the bean bag underneath.
No,
it was like
that sounds terrible.
It was like a bean bag under
molds to your legs or something. It molds to your
legs, and then you could do your writing or your reading or whatever.
Love that.
On top.
Yeah,
and it was like mushy, foamy, not mushy. That's the wrong word.
Beanie.
Yeah, except now bean bags have like those styrofoam.
I did not know that
inside there. Yeah, I tried to fill one up one time. Don't do it by yourself.
With actual beans?
No.
With the styrofoam.
The styrofoam.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways, so the letters are the important thing. That's why she was... But now he found it.
Uh-oh.
But then read the letters, but then burned them.
Burn them.
Yeah. Well, and the main thing is that the letters were basically orders to gentle any men they find immediately.
Yep.
And hang them.
On the spot and hang them without a trial, even though Tarvalin requires that by tower law.
We've heard about that.
To be brought to the tower, not be hung immediately, gentled and hung.
Yeah.
So
well, the whole gentling thing.
Yeah.
The whole gentling thing for male channelers is something that we know has happened before in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Even with like Tom's nephew Owen.
Yes.
Right? Like this is a thing that is a trend that they do is they just like ignore the tower law.
Mm-hmm.
It's that red
But this was like an expressly written order from Elida.
Yeah. And it's like, guys, why do you have that letter still?
Yeah.
What are we hanging on to that for? If you're on a super secret mission.
Yeah.
Can you not remember that?
Yeah, just remember it in your head.
Yeah.
Gentle the men and hang them.
Yeah.
I can remember
like, show the people in your group because they should all be aware what the plan is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, get rid of the letter.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're just traveling with it.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, Logain burned them, and so that's...
Yeah, Tovene doesn't get why he would do that because they could have... Like, that's clearly a bad thing to find.
Right. And now Gabriella says he isn't a villain any more than most men. It could just be that simple, or it could be that this bond is more similar to a warder bond, and he doesn't want to deal with the consequences of having them all executed.
Yeah.
Because then he...
Like, what happens then?
Yeah, what happens in that bond, is it the same as when a warder dies for an Aes Sedai, or vice versa? So...
And, like, maybe we just don't want to have that consequence regardless, and we don't know what that consequence is, but...
Yeah,
Or maybe he's just not, like, a total jerk. Even if you're a jerk, doesn't mean everybody's a jerk.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Jerks tend to think everyone's a jerk.
Exactly.
So anyway, Gabrielle at this point has also learned that there are some fractures in the dynamics of the Black Tower.
Yeah, this is good too, I guess.
There's a Taim faction and a Logain faction and maybe some other factions and also people who don't know that there are factions.
Yeah, the factionless, you could say.
The factionless.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the oblivious, because factionless would be like, you know
I
about them.
was going to say the ignorant.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're just like going about their business.
The dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the question is not only what to do about these questions, but if the Aes Sedai do manage to break apart these factions, or the factions break apart on their own, the groups of male channelers who would potentially scatter across the world would be even harder to deal with in the future.
Yeah, but then it's also like, okay, so even if they do, if the Black Tower sticks together, Tovene is still considering, like, that they could gather up every Aes Sedai
in the entire
world, even the retired ones, bring them out of retirement. Rebels. Yeah, everybody comes together, and then they're gonna try to like attack the Black Tower.
They
and
still
then
might
half
not
of them
be
will
able
die.
to do anything about the Black Tower.
But like, what kind of plan is that to just go in? At this point, you need to just get on board and start negotiating.
Oh yeah.
Get Miranda in here. She'll figure something out.
She's an excellent negotiator. The best I've ever seen.
She can do it. But yeah, I mean, and I understand the need for like, oh, they're gonna go crazy, whatever. But
they have a system.
Yeah.
It's stuff in wine. It kills them.
It's not a bad system. It's not a bad system.
We have our eyes on the crazy ones.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. None of this is good, by the way. Like, nothing that's happening, we're like, oh, good news.
Yeah, I mean,
None of this is good news.
Like, I'm not on Tovene's side either, so...
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything's just sort of bad.
You don't have to be on anybody's side in this encounter.
It's kind of like Tiger King.
Everybody's a bad person, and it doesn't matter. They're all bad people.
They're just all terrible.
Yeah.
What an old reference at this point.
It's good. You know what?
Okay, so Gabriella gets to the other point that she wants to make here. The authority that Elaida gave to Tovene is finished, and their mission is over.
Yeah, they failed.
The question now is, are they going to be 51 Sisters United, or will they revert to being their own Ajas, kind of like normal?
Little clumps of the 51.
Yes.
A faction of this person and that person, and people who don't understand there's factions.
And now, the only chance they have to hold everyone together here is if the two of them publicly submit to Lamai and Dissandra, who are the two Aes Sedai who rank the highest, I guess, in strength. And
yeah, because keep in mind, if you're on an embassy, whoever's put in charge has highest rank.
That's right.
But since their plan failed, it's over.
Yeah. And so the plan is to just let them have authority over all of them.
Yeah.
And Tovene isn't totally against this idea.
Yeah, she seems like reasonable about this.
She doesn't want to be held accountable for Elaida's fuck up here.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't my problem. Like, this isn't my fault, guys, completely. Solely.
Yeah, she's open to it, and she thinks before Logain and Taim and the rest are destroyed, they would help her bring down Elaida.
Like, okay.
And maybe.
Maybe.
But you know who's more likely to bring down Elaida?
Like Egwene?
Yeah, exactly. The Rebel Aes Sedai.
There's a lot of people on that list before Tovene.
The Rebel Aes Sedai, Missana and Alviarin.
Yeah. It's like
the
everybody
Gawain. Else in the tower. Friggin' Gawain. Perhaps.
We got a lot of options, but...
Yeah, that is the end of this perspective. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump into it.
All right.
All right, so we're back, and our perspective change jumps into Rand's perspective.
Yes.
Now, it took a while for us to get to whose perspective this even was.
Just a little bit, because we have to describe Cairhien.
Like a page and a half of describing Cairhien.
Which is interesting, because...
And the destruction that went down at the Sun Palace.
So, time-lapse-wise, if last perspective was...
before the attack.
This seems...
after the attack.
Significantly.
What?
Like, at least a little bit, considering where Rand and Min have been since that happened.
Oh, that's true.
They
at
left
least 2 days.
At least, yeah.
Well, they could have jumped around to 2 places in one day.
I mean, that's possible. It's possible. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like, an hour after the attack. It's been at least a little while.
It's been at least, I'd say, a couple days. Enough to forget about some people under a bed.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Okay, so we're going to enter with Rand a mile away from the Sun Palace in the Academy of Kyrian.
Yep.
So the school, which is Barthanes' old palace.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So Rand is here with Min, and he wonders if he returned to Kyrian too soon, but he had been forced to flee very quickly so that it looked like he was fleeing quickly.
Yeah, and now he's back secretly.
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 Oh, yes. Very secretly.
I mean, not so secretly that nobody knows, because, like, a couple of people know.
Yeah.
But, like...
But he's dressed in a dark wool coat.
That's true.
That no one would expect the Dragonborn to be in.
That's
so
true.
obviously no one is going to know he's here.
Yeah, he's like medium secretive.
He also has mittens.
That's true, to hide his hands.
So no one knows, Brett.
Okay.
No one knows his face at all.
Except for
that he's a tall...
Dobrain and...
Well, Dobrain is on purpose here. He trusts Dobrain.
Yeah, and...
He had to get a message
Adrian.
to Dobrain somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adrian doesn't count. She doesn't care about anything that's happening.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Turns out, but okay. Also, Min wants a bunch of Haredfell's books.
Yes.
That's what she's...
There's a bunch of things happening.
That's what she wants. So she's learning, and I love it.
Yeah, she is the new Haredfell.
Oh, well, no.
Nope, that's what's happening. She's the new Haredfell.
That's... No.
She's gonna go party in the streets.
Oh, no. I thought you meant, like, the new philosopher of the time. And, like, maybe, but I think that she needs to do a lot of learning first.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. At this point, while we're learning about all of the really important things that have happened to Rand,
this is one of those chapters,
where he is and what's going on.
It's all interwoven. Yeah.
And he's looking out the window at some sort of invention that a bunch of men are working on outside. And this whole plot line of finding out about the invention of a steam engine
is kind of funny.
Going on for so long.
Okay.
And I mean, like, this is the writing flex situation where it's like, look at me describe this thing.
It's fun to
watch. And
then
reveal what this thing is.
It's fun to watch Rand watching these guys make this invention, because the last time when he just opened up the school, this guy was, like, here with, like, a smaller contraption that didn't really do anything. But now it's turned into, like, a steam engine. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't... And his description of, like, oh, it's a wagon, but where are the horses? And
I know.
It's kind of funny. I like it.
It's a thing. And we're just going to move on past it.
Yeah, let's talk about the actual stuff, because steam engines are cool, but, like, this one is moderately functional at best.
Oh, it doesn't function.
It moves.
Barely.
It's not like they're not hauling stuff.
You know what I don't want to talk about anymore?
The steam engine? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Rand asked Dobrain what people... are saying about the palace and everything that happened, and Dobrain tells him that people think all sorts of crazy things.
Forsaken, or Aes Sedai, and Rand's either dead, or he's alive, or he's kidnapped, or he's gone. Or he's gone mad.
Yeah.
Or all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Rand asks if anyone left suddenly.
Yeah, suspicious.
Since he did.
Suspicious people.
Suspiciously.
Yep.
Or if anyone showed up unexpectedly.
Mm-hmm.
And Dobrain's answer surprises him because apparently...
Yeah, this is hilarious.
Lil Riotin.
Yeah, the lady.
And the High Sea Folk...
Official. Yeah.
Are both missing since the attack, and no bodies have been found, and they might have been killed.
Yeah, remember when we were reading that scene when Rand, like, conked him on the head and shoved him under the bed?
Okay, so let me tell you, though. When I was reading this, it didn't register...
That these were the people?
Shoot. So, I do remember the scene.
Yeah, and you said, why is this happening?
Who cares? No one cares. I said, this is either going to be a huge plot point, or we're never going to talk about it again.
Or it's a medium plot point, and they're missing, but also they're probably not missing.
Also, doesn't matter. I didn't realize or register the names of the, like, who they were. Because me, in the middle of all of that happening, it didn't matter to me who they were. They were so minor.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who they were.
It's one of the A-ladies that was with Rand all through his expedition.
I know. And so here we're like, oh no, 2 people are missing. And my brain didn't connect. But for Rand, he's like, oh, definitely no.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. But first, the Sea Folk are demanding information on their official, and Dobrain thinks Alil might have ran away to the countryside or joined her brother. Yeah, Toram Riotin.
Toram, right. He's off doing something. He's evil dude.
Yeah, probably, yes, definitely.
So now, Also, in part of the message is that the 3 Ashaman, Flynn, Narishma, and Hopwell, are still in the palace, but they're making people nervous by hanging around there.
Which is also concerning if they're on the list of traitors. Deserters, at the Black Tower, or if that order is going to be repealed by Taim once he found out. Well, I mean, that's like a bad thing to keep those names, because it seems like the naming of them as traitors was premature to the events of what happened in the books. Timeline-wise, it's a little bit hard to put our thumb on.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay.
Interesting to note.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, Rand still doesn't necessarily trust the Ashaman, even though they weren't part of the attack on him, he thinks.
Yeah, LTT's here.
But Luz Theron is here whispering about how none of us will survive, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
And then Rand says, go back to sleep.
Yeah.
That's like the go home, you're drunk.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's good to see that LTT is like back and
he's here.
pretty consistent.
Yeah, I like it. Rand's talking to him.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing that's going on.
He's like medium crazy. He's not overly crazy now.
Not yet. Well, like, he flits in and out of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is where Rand tells Dobrain that Alil and the Sea Folk are alive and they didn't flee, and all they need to do is talk to Cadsuane because she'll for sure know where they are.
Oh yeah, stuffed away in the Lady Amyrlin's palace where they all hunker down.
Yeah.
Because also, how does Rand know that?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
What I really thought was happening here was no one checked under that bed.
They're still there.
And they're still there.
Oh no.
That's mostly what I assumed.
Yeah. That's tough. Like, maybe, and presumably...
But the fact that Dobrain said there's no bodies...
Yeah.
...means that they've probably looked.
Probably. And also, we saw Cadsuane marching around.
Hunting for something.
So she probably scooped them up, because also Rand seems pretty confident that Lady Caroline and High Lord Darlin are also being kept there.
Oh, yeah. Someone told him that they're there.
Yeah, when we know that, but, for Rand to know that these two are there too. And why is Cadsuane scooping up and kidnapping all these people?
Who knows why I said I'd do anything?
That's Rand's point.
I know.
That's Rand's point.
I know that.
Okay.
It's also my point.
Okay.
They'll have their own missions and side things and...
All right.
I don't know.
So that's, we'll leave it at that, I guess, because who knows?
Yes, we will. We'll leave it at that, and people are going to be like, but you didn't speculate enough. People thought I didn't speculate enough on why Cadsuane was hunting around in the palace after the attack. And because I didn't speculate on it.
Got some reasons.
Because I didn't really care.
Rand.
I didn't care why she was hunting around. It didn't matter to me.
2 women are missing.
I'm sure there are things. I'm sure it matters.
Yeah, okay.
Cadsuane, whatever.
We'll get in her head eventually, right? So.
Yeah, not for me.
Okay.
All right. So Rand is just about to tell Dobrain that he needs to give him something, but then, oh my god, the steam wagon lurches forward.
Without horses! It's huge, without horses.
The whole thing. Now, I don't want to talk about the steam wagon anymore, but I do want to talk about Rand's reaction.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
It boggles my mind that he sees this thing moving without horses, and he's like, oh my god, this marvel!
Yeah. Like, oh my god, I can't believe that the thing that he had last time...
The device on the table that did nothing, and now this marvel has come from that. Oh my gosh, what other marvels are people creating here?
Yeah.
And I just went, Rand, you literally can rip a hole
in
time and space and just step through and be fine.
Walls of fire with your hands.
That's Marvel.
Burning things out of existence.
This is just science.
Yeah.
This is just water and...
It's crazy.
Hot water making things move with its energy. That's not a marvel, Rand.
Yeah. Wait till he sees, like, them invent a tractor.
Oh,
and he's going to be like, oh my god.
How many...
A Roomba, but for sheep. Right? Okay.
Is that what you think a tractor does?
It's just a dog. No, I'm just naming inventions that Rand would be like, you know.
Yeah. Well, pretty much anything. Like, literally a hang glider.
Yeah, I know.
He's
there's
like,
some...
Whoa, a lady launching herself off a Like,
And to be fair, there's some pretty fun things, like
Rand
little tidbits.
has literally created a staircase out of air and walked through air to get to a place on a boat.
Teleranred, the dream world.
Also
there's like
Teleranred.
alternate existence within the existence.
All the things that are marvels here, Rand.
Yeah.
Steam engine?
Also,
Nope.
I gotta say, my favorite part about this whole thing is
the list of all the inventions.
No, Idrian's thought process, because she's like, oh,
I hate it here.
She's like, I have to like let dreamers and wastrels and historians in here.
Blah.
Hate them. Oh, the worst. Boo. Have to deal with these people. It like her
what
reaction.
would she prefer?
I don't know. It's like, what are we going for here?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good. But yeah, we got a couple inventions I got to highlight. So. And there's a lot of names, and I didn't have time to dig into like each name.
The only one I remember is
Kintovir. He's got a big looking glass now that can see into space.
Moon. It can see the moon.
And other planets, and other worlds.
Yeah, and she's like, who cares?
Who cares about that?
Who wants to see the stupid moon?
But it's really funny, because if you remember, we've gotten from like Lanfear, I think it was, she was like, hey, the stars are other world, but you know what? I'm not going to tell you about that now. So she actually hinted that back in Age of Legends, they had quite possibly, even possibly,
telescopes,
and maybe travel to other worlds too. There was hints about that.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't want to wrap my head around that.
Anyways,
right now.
So we got big old telescope,
Yep.
look into space.
Hang glider.
We got hang glider, and she's broken her arm before.
Giant kite, that she launches herself off of cliffs.
We've got river boats with the water wheels, but they move really slow, and there's no room for cargo, so what the heck are we doing here?
What the frick is the point of a...
Well, it's like a paddle wheel boat.
I know, I'm aware.
Yeah.
No,
for fun.
I'm being Idrian.
The most fun happens on the paddle wheel.
You know, you can have dinner.
You can have drinks.
You can have lots. I've had drinks on those boats.
Yeah.
River cruise.
There's no limit to how much you can drink on a riverboat.
Well...
Nope, open bar all the time. Okay,
Yeah,
anyways.
okay.
And then a big one that gets Rand going.
Uh-huh.
There's a dude who traps lightning in big jars.
Oh, yeah, he's like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
He spins out, and she's like, not like the way you do it. It's like, this is like with wires and stuff and big clay jars. Which, interestingly, like the original batteries were just big clay pots, and like batteries are from ancient Egypt too. So, not new, but it is kind of cool.
That's what your fun fact should be on.
I will in the future. I'll get you some good battery information. There's some really cool stuff.
Care. This is good enough.
Too late.
I believe you.
But Rand then realizes that it's like, oh, that's not like a, Forsaken who can trap lightning, whatever. Because that's what he's looking for, suspicious people. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that's the summary. There you go.
Okay, so we do get that Rand, again, thinks about how he really wants to leave something good behind to help the world survive the new breaking.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna just put it out there that I think a school should be teaching other people things that you know. It shouldn't just be a big room full of inventor people inventing things. That's my... At least have some, like... I guess maybe this guy who's inventing a steam engine has some, like, apprentices who are learning with him.
Sure. Well, that's how you do. You learn by doing, and then other people get excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just still think that there should be,
Sure. No, I get it.
But...
He's setting up schools all over the place now, too.
He certainly is, yeah.
It's not just here.
Tyr?
Mm-hmm.
Camelin? Mm-hmm. No, not Camelin. Is it Camelin?
I think they're looking at that, yeah? Maybe there's a lot. I don't know.
Other places.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on from schools, though.
Yeah, because more important things are happening now.
Mm-hmm. Lews Therin goes off in his head.
Okay, here we go.
Which is great.
Here we go.
We are not builders, not you or I or the other one. We are destroyers.
Okay.
And Rand thinks, the other one?
Okay, go.
I have a theory. I have a new theory.
Let's do it.
This
is big. This is big.
Because this isn't the first time we've heard Lews Therin talk about another one.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also had a face, or a faceless face.
Yep. And Rand keeps thinking, is that face Lews Therin?
Or is it someone else?
But if Lews Therin realizes there's another one...
So my theory...
Okay, go.
...is Lews Therin was reborn from somebody. Right? Because we got a long time ago, Ishmael has fought Lews Therin in a bajillion other battles.
Yeah.
So,
the soul gets reborn,
What if Lews Therin, when he was a human in the Age of Legends, had his past crazy guy life, or I guess he wouldn't have been crazy, but his past life in his head.
Okay.
When he was Lews Therin. Because maybe that's just like what this soul does. Is it like...
You get to talk to the last guy?
Yeah, I don't know. So, he's in his head. And then, now we get Lews Therin in Rand's head, but Lews Therin has consciousness enough to be talking to the other one.
It's like an infinite regress loop all the way back forever.
Just these three.
No wonder they go crazy.
Yeah, well, they only go crazy because of the madness because of what Lews Therin did.
Yeah.
The other guy probably wasn't crazy.
Okay.
That's the theory.
So, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, I like it.
It's that, or it's Moradin because of the cross balefire situation.
Because there was, like, the whole double vision.
Because, like, why did he show up to even do anything and help Rand if
the
it
crossing
wasn't
of the balefire was not intentional. That's because they both attacked Mashadar at the same time. And they were holding hands at the same time. And they crossed balefire streams.
You want to tell me that everything Moradin did wasn't, like, intentional?
I'm saying that Moradin rescuing Rand...
Moradin shooting balefire... and Rand shooting balefire, Moradin is very capable of being like, whoop, hit yours.
You don't know
on
that.
Purpose to do
You don't
something.
even know who and or what Moradin is or was or maybe
I also
could be.
don't even know what balefire is, so joke's on you.
There you go.
I don't know anything.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on at all.
Yep. No.
Several theories.
You float them around. Just like keep them in your head. And let's read
thing that actually
read Winter's Heart. Yeah.
Is there is somebody else in here.
There's a third option, apparently. But wait, no time for that now.
No. No. Because Rand has some packets to pull out of his coat to give to Dobrain.
Yeah, I like it. They're instructions. They're orders.
Because
now he's actually going to go on the run.
We'll see. So, we'll see where Rand has plans, and we see where those plans go.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Rand gives him those things, and one names Dobrain Rand's steward in Cairhien.
Yeah, so he's in charge.
There won't be any trouble with anyone questioning your authority while I'm gone.
At least he'll have like the documentation to say this is what Rand wants.
This is what Rand wants. And he tells Dobrain that when Elaine lays claim to the Sun Throne, he's supposed to throw his full support behind her.
Yeah.
But my question is, how is Elaine supposed to know to do that?
Good question.
If Rand won't even talk to her.
Well, maybe they're going to talk to each other.
And I mean, Elaine knows now that Rand means to do that because, gossip.
Sure.
But
yeah,
she doesn't even have the Lion Throne yet, and she's going to be like,
yeah,
also that one, please.
But like Elaine's never-ending ambition, and, she'll just swoop on over.
We certainly hope, but probably somebody, and not Rand.
Yeah.
Because if Rand says, go take that, she'll be like,
no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Interesting, okay.
You can't make me do anything. I'm going to do it, but it's because it's my right.
Well, okay, does the Cairhien throne, does the Sun Throne have the same rules with, like, the no man gives the...
no, but she's Elaine.
That's true. That's a good point. I didn't consider that.
You didn't consider that she's Elaine.
Shoot.
So...
Okay.
Anyway, so hopefully that happens at some point.
The second packet is
for someone else.
Secret?
It's for someone else.
Who's that for?
Because Rand tells Dobrain with his voice as cold as Winter's Heart.
That's the book title.
That's the name of the book.
Oh, no. Okay.
You'll know when to deliver the other, whether to deliver it or not. Pry him out if need be, and decide by what he says. If you decide no or he refuses, I'll pick someone else, not you. And I don't know why Rand's a spooky ghost right now. But that's the voice I chose to read that
because it's really close to Halloween right now. Halloween is 2 days away. We're getting in the...
Yeah, I should have done my voice as cold as Winter's Heart.
That's good.
Not spooky ghost. But...
Yeah, so I think the important part is that Rand is saying, like, don't influence the results of whatever you're doing because either way, you're not going to be the person who gets whatever this is. And I get that, right?
What? Who,
what, when.
What? Do you have any tidbits for me?
Unfortunately, this is one of those things that it's
just so cryptic.
It's super cryptic.
Who would Dobrain be connected to?
Yep. Dobrain has to suss out something about somebody.
Ooh, you know what?
Okay.
I think maybe.
Okay.
This might be related to that whole Tyr needing a king now business.
Okay.
Because it's
we
somebody
do get
who
that
needs
the second,
to be pried out.
But the third packet is for Gregorin, who's going to be steward in Ilion, and then like what who would for Tyr though? Who?
Somebody who's Min's viewing who has a crown.
Darlin. Okay. Mm-hmm. Darlin is currently captive.
Oh, pry him out if need be.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this packet is for Darlin
to be the king of
Tyr.
Yep.
Maybe if Dobrain,
and if he refuses, then Rand will pick someone else.
Not Dobrain. So like, if you don't do this, then you don't get to be king.
Yeah.
Okay. That fits pretty well. That's a pretty good theory.
Sussed it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's as good as any other.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like, I got nothing. I'm not telling you anything else.
Yeah, because there is another one for
Gregorin, Steward, and Ilian. So yeah, okay.
Probably naming him Steward with
power. Well, Rand,
in the same
Steward
way.
is like you're the ruler because I'm not here right now.
Yeah, so probably same.
Yeah.
For Gregorin, and then same for Tyr.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
Why wouldn't it be?
Cool.
Okay, but here we go.
Yeah.
At this point, Min finishes getting all her books and documents that she wants. And Rand sends Dobrain and Idrian off because he doesn't want to spend much more time here.
Because it's a secret mission plan.
Yeah, get out. Rand studies Min for a second and then takes just one of her bags from her.
I love that. This is so funny. This is so funny.
She has a bunch.
She has so many bags of books.
Yeah.
She's like just weighed down.
Yeah, and he takes one. And she goes, only one? These bags are 100 pounds each.
Yeah.
And Rand says, well, you should have picked smaller books.
I love that. That's so funny.
But then he gets immediately punished for being snarky.
He does. But also, I gotta say, for our boy Rand, who's been through some stressful shit, the fact that he has a discernible sense of humor that's actually pretty on point.
Yeah.
Mentally speak, that's pretty good for Rand right now.
I don't think Min thinks this is very funny.
No, she doesn't. But I'm always checking out on his emotional stability.
Right.
And sometimes he's in the mood where it's nothing's funny, and I'm not.
Right.
I am stone. I am
right,
hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And here he's smaller books.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty funny. Anyway, but he turns around and there's a wave of dizziness and nausea that hits him. And there's a shimmering face that he can't make out that flashes in his head. And then Lews Therin is panting in the background. And Rand thinks, could this face be his?
Here's the thing, though. This time, when Rand has the face, he was not trying to embrace Saidin.
That's right. And he didn't get the sense that Lews Therin was also trying to get it.
Yeah, he wasn't even trying to embrace it. Nothing. No. So this is the first time, and this is super important. So, is this LTT or is this the other?
Is this the other, or is this craziness? Is this his madness, his taint madness?
Maybe.
Because I think that might just be the most obvious answer.
That's true.
The most medium obvious answer,
and
which is always the one that's
it's
most
always the
medium.
one that you most medium suspect. Okay.
Yeah, it just seems okay. This is Lord Luke literally being a dude named Luke.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't even change his name.
You're could this all have actually been Rand going crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And then he talks to Min right away.
Yeah.
About his plan. About how he wants to cleanse the taint.
You're just going to drop that like that? That's how you're going to do this on this episode?
Yeah.
You're just super casual?
We'll get to it.
Not even there yet.
We'll get to it.
Can't believe you just did that.
I'm just linking it right now because that's what my brain's doing.
Okay.
I'm talking in sequence for my brain, not for the chapter.
Okay. I understand that you've read the entire chapter.
Yeah, everybody has.
But I just, it's, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, Rand has a moment of considering leaving Min behind, but she calls him out on it.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking that.
And he's I never would think that ever.
I would not do that to you.
And then he tells her, I just thought you should know what we're going to be doing because, I haven't really been very upfront with you.
It's yeah, man.
Yeah. I also think that earlier he wasn't very upfront with Dobrain when he's oh, those chicks, they'll be with Codswain, but gives no follow-up information. And if they're not, please check this bedroom.
Don't ask why I know.
They're literally under the bed here.
That opens up a lot of questions about why two women are probably under the bed in that room tied up. Because, I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I did it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone for it.
And then they're hey, Rand, you can't, you should, why are...
Nobody will say that.
Yeah.
No one will say boo to him. Are you joking?
Oh, man, okay.
I'm concerned they're not going to be there, and they're literally just, like, dead under the bed there.
Because they're not actually checking under every single bed, because why? That's a weird thing to check.
Yeah.
But, like, they should be able to make sounds or wiggle out.
The fact that it was like, no bodies have been found, makes me think that, they got out.
Yeah.
But...
okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's gateway time.
Yeah, he opens a gateway to a snowy clearing where there are 2 horses, and we learn that they are about 5 miles...
Nope.
500 miles.
That's better.
From Kyrian.
Yep.
They're closer to Tarvalin than anywhere else notable, but
so
they're
kind of
still
the middle
not,
of
like,
nowhere.
Close. Yeah. And then Min tells us what they've been up to.
Yes, and that's important
we get
for...
this recap for us.
And that's important for, like, timestamp of, like...
Well, it's important for us moving into the beginning of this book.
Yeah, so here we go.
Yeah.
They travel to Ruidian, and keep in mind,
we
there's
haven't been there in so long.
Aiel lived there now.
Yes.
That's important to remember.
And I love Min being like, I always pictured the waste being like this desert where there's nothing, and this place has buildings.
Yeah, and Rand's like, actually, no, it's like mostly desert.
It's mostly
pretty
desert.
terrible.
Yeah, no, don't.
Yeah. This is the city, and also I made the water.
It's like people who think that, they know what Canada looks like because they've been to Toronto.
Yeah.
It's like, well, nope.
You know Toronto, but, that's fine.
Nope, drive through Saskatchewan.
That's Canada.
That's Canada.
If you really want to know what the average of Canada is, it's like the middle of Saskatchewan.
Vast nothingness.
Yeah, it's mostly, there's mostly nothing. So anyways, so they went to Ruidian.
Yes.
And Rand did a thing where he asked like 100,000 questions.
About Shara.
And
I was like, ooh, cool. Turns out, distraction.
Fake plan. Yeah. Distraction noodle. Okay, and then they also went to Tyr, and Rand did the same question thing about Chachin.
Chachin. What's Chachin again?
It's we haven't been there.
Have we heard of it?
I think it's come up like maybe once.
I feel like I've heard it.
Yeah, we've heard about it like maybe once, not very much, but...
Where is it?
It's not important yet.
Well...
I don't even think it's on the map.
It's somewhere not on the map. Chachin.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the official...
Is it like an island somewhere?
Yeah, Chachin's not on the map.
Chachin, is it up in... the Borderlands?
Oh, yeah, it is on the map. Yeah, it's in the Borderlands,
okay.
Yeah.
It is on the map.
So, I mean, it's like, yeah. And when you're thinking about, like, Rand's distraction plan about what's going on, so Min picks up on it.
He's just talking about other places.
He's talking about different places to throw them off, to make sure that they think that he might be going somewhere, because Rand was talking about this whole plan about
he needs to lay
setting
some
a trap.
False trails.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is where Min tells Rand she knows about his plan to lay false trails, but also that it probably has something to do with what's in his leather pack.
Yes.
And she asks if it's a Sa'angreal because he barely lets the bag out of his sight.
Boom. Okay.
She's smart.
Well,
and observant.
She's only half right because it's not a
Sa'angreal.
It's 2 Sa'angreal.
So did he get them from Ruidian? Is that what he got?
They weren't in Ruidian anymore. They were in Kyrian. He hid them away again. The last time...
Tyr. No, he hid them in Tyr.
No, I'm pretty sure they were in Kyrian. He hid them, like, behind a wall or something. He did that whole thing in Kyrian.
Okay.
I'm, like, pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, because he zip-zapped to Ruidian to get them.
To bring them to Kyrian.
To hide them. But I thought that was to Tyr.
No.
That was Kalendor and Tyr, right?
Kalendor's in Tyr, and like my brain's telling me that it's in Kyrian.
See, my brain feels Tyr, but
it's
that's
definitely
okay.
not Tyr. It's
okay.
Kyrian. Anyways, he has the 2 super powerful Emmy Sa'angreal in this leather pack,
which I've actually predicted he's gonna use.
And
like,
it seems
with like Nynaeve or Egwene.
Well, it kind of seems like he might have a plan now.
I know.
Because here we go.
Okay.
He has them. And then this is the big reveal.
This is because he says super nonchalantly,
yeah,
I'm going to cleanse the male half of the source. And Min barely has a reaction to this because I don't think that she actually understands what it means to channel with Sidene. That is all gross and terrible.
And it's like, perhaps for a woman channeler to be able to sense Sidar, you might be able to be like, okay, but gross.
Yeah.
So you might have but Min can't channel at all, so it's like there's zero starting point. And we just
sort of have I want to say philosophy, but I only want to say that because Min is like a philosophy student.
Sure.
But you sort of have the philosophy of, the taint.
Yeah. Like the hypothetical.
Sidene, and it makes men go crazy and it makes the breaking of the world. So that's bad.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, okay, if
But
we're
when-
gonna
when
cleanse
you-
it, then it's good. But
Yeah.
it's not like as big a deal to her.
For sure. No, and that's a very like accurate depiction, because when the men channel, we've gotten the whole description of it's like dipping your hand in water and there's like an oil
slick
slick
on the
on
top
it,
of
and
it.
it's like everything is now oily.
And disgusting.
Yeah, but if you don't experience it, how are you going to actually like understand that really?
Yeah.
So this is the big part of Rand's kind of plan that's formulating in the prologue here.
Yeah.
He says, I don't know how long it's going to take to do the cleansing of the source.
Yeah.
And
But
once
he
I
thinks,
start,
yeah.
once I start, everybody within 1,000 miles is going to feel that amount of power. Because if he's got the two Sa'angreal with him, and they're like the most powerful Sa'angreal ever created, if he's using two of them, then that's going to be so much power that it makes sense that everyone's going to be able to sense what's going on. So, when that happens, like, the Forsaken or Dashiva and the boys,
Right.
like, they might be able to come and see what's up, and then that's bad, and he can't stop. So, that's kind of a death sentence, if anything.
Right.
So, he's thinking, like, I can't do anything with the Forsaken, but with any luck, I can probably go and, like, kill all these Ashaman who are now traitors.
Right, who are against me. And
Who are against me. So,
and-
like, I can maybe solve this one plan.
Right, and then also at some point he mentions that he needs Nynaeve's help.
Yes, yeah. He's mentioned he wants to talk to her about this.
Yes. But he doesn't know that Nynaeve fixed the gentling problem.
No. From
Right?
what it seems like, he doesn't know that right now.
No, I don't think he knows
No.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
He
it's,
wants
just,
to-
it's
he-
just interesting
Yeah.
because he mentioned Nynaeve at the end of the last book
Yeah.
about how, she knows a lot about herbs and healing
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. But why he would immediately be drawn to seeking Nynaeve's help here, unless he just thinks that she's the most powerful female channeler.
We've gotten him thinking about her in the context of cleansing the source before.
I know, yeah.
But I mean,
But I don't know why.
Consider from Rand's point of view, Nynaeve is the best healer that he knows, and cleansing
Might have
the
something
source
to do
might
with
have
that?
something to do with healing. It's a healing in a metaphorical sense.
Okay. I mean, I thought for sure Egwene would be part of it. She really was dead set on helping Rand in the beginning. I think now she doesn't care.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
And then at some
Yeah.
point, Nynaeve was roped into that plan. And then at a different point for something completely different
I mean,
altogether.
Nynaeve's kind of always been Mama Bear, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about like me from my point of predicting how
Yeah.
this is going to go down. At some point, I said Egwene was going to help Rand with
Yep.
the taint, and then I said, maybe Nynaeve is roped into that. She wants to help, but then also at some point with the Sa'angreal statues, we're going to need either Egwene or Nynaeve, who are super strong channelers, to help with this. And so, in a very roundabout way, I feel like I've accidentally put the pieces together, and I don't really know how I did that, but then here I am, and it's kind of feeling like it's gonna continue to fit together.
Well, here's what I'll say to that, too, because it does seem like Rand wants to speak with Nynaeve about this, maybe get advice, figure it out, game plan, but it's not necessarily saying, like, she's the one who's gonna be, like, on the trigger on the woman Sa'angreal. We don't know that that's going to be a thing.
No,
it
but
could be anybody.
Because I was like, why does he need her specifically in his brain, other than it's someone he knows, someone he trusts, and someone who's strong.
Yeah,
and someone who's like good at healing. But the strength part and the trust part is huge, right?
That's true. And I also think of like the taint on Saidin as like an infection, right? And it's like if you want to like drain an infection or whatever, like let the pus out if we're going to get graphic.
Yeah.
But you might want to talk to someone who's really good at healing. So it kind of makes sense why he would want to. It's not crazy.
Okay, and Min is like, well, maybe we can think of a better plan. And then we start off towards an inn.
No. She says maybe I can think of a better plan.
Oh, yeah.
Because also Rand is sometimes bad at plans. So,
right, because he does still have a few secrets from her about, like, the sickness affecting him now.
Yeah, the spooky face,
is, like,
the ghost face that's popping up.
Pretty big deal. But he's hoping that that'll just get better over time.
Right.
Let's just ignore it.
So his plan is go kill these, like, renegade Ashaman first.
Yeah.
Because that'll give him time to get better before he does the... Like, dude,
and
really?
Let me tell you, anytime you have a medical emergency, it's best to just ignore it.
Yep.
and it'll go away on its own.
Yes, wait as long as possible until it's an absolute emergency, and then you go. Because then they let you in right away.
Right, you don't have to wait in the waiting room.
You don't have to wait, because they're like, oh man, he's about to die, so... Shoot.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and then this is where there is a reveal that he has 2 sangria with him.
Yep.
And he hopes that they'll be of use.
Yes.
That's the end of the prologue.
Yeah. I mean, prologues, maybe they're supposed to hint at, like, what's to come in the book.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that explanation.
Well,
like,
it would be
what's
nice,
a prologue?
too, if in the first chapter, we jump ahead to the 1 month ahead of time where we left on the end of book 8.
Yeah, maybe we'll jump in chapter, like, who knows?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm hoping that chapter 1 starts out in the same timeline that book 8 ended.
Gotcha.
And then I can wrap my head around this being a prologue, just sort of filling in the bits and pieces that we missed in book 8.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited to read on. But before you go ahead and invent the marvel that is the steam engine, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Margaret, and Charlie Haz. With music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast, and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.